You can smell it in the air, the quiet stench of decadence. Men scrolling endlessly, drowning in distractions, worshipping comfort like it's a god. Their muscles atrophy, their spirit rusts, and their words are hollow echoes of a strength they never earned. Nietzsche saw this coming. He warned that when a society loses its hunger, when men become obsessed with safety over struggle, they collapse into what he called the last men. The weak, the tame, the domesticated. They smile, they nod, they obey. But behind their eyes there's nothing, no fire, no danger, no weight. I've seen it too. The betrayal of men who talk like lions but fold like sheep. The friend who swore loyalty until temptation offered him comfort. The man who dreams of greatness but never bleeds for it. The truth is simple. Decadence is a disease, and it rots you long before you realize you're infected. We live in an age where weakness is celebrated, where calling out cowardice is branded as cruelty, where mediocrity hides under the costume of self-care. Nietzsche wasn't just writing philosophy, he was delivering a prophecy. And his warning is written across our culture like blood on the wall. What is great in man is that he is a bridge and not an end. The bridge discipline, strength, risk, pain is abandoned. The end comfort, numbness, surrender rules. This is not theory. It's war for your soul. If you don't wake up, the age of weak men will swallow you whole. The question is simple. Do you become the bridge, or do you rot with the herd? Comfort. It feels harmless. Soft couches, endless screens. Food delivered at the click of a finger. A life where effort is optional and struggle is avoided like the plague. But Nietzsche knew comfort is the plague, not because it kills you instantly, but because it numbs you slowly. It eats the fire from within. And soon, the man who once dreamed of conquest becomes a hollow creature who only dreams of sleeping in. The disease of comfort is subtle. It doesn't look like chains, it looks like luxury. You think you're free because no one is forcing you. But the truth is, you've been captured by your own appetite. Comfort seduces you into surrender. It lulls you into weakness. And once weakness takes root, your spirit begins to rot. Nietzsche saw this future. He called it nihilism, a slow decay of meaning, where men stop asking, "What mountain must I climb?" and instead ask, "What can keep me entertained?" Look around. Men are anesthetized by games, by cheap dopamine, by endless scrolling. They chase the shadow of achievement, fake status symbols, empty validation, shallow pleasure. They trade real battle for simulation, real pain for distraction, real growth for convenience. This is the curse of the last man, a creature who avoids suffering at all costs, who prefers comfort over greatness, safety over danger, numbness over truth. He believes he is happy because his desires are small enough to always be fulfilled. But in reality, he is dead while still breathing. Comfort is not neutral, it is an assassin. It murders ambition, suffocates courage, and blinds you to the hunger that once drove men to build empires. Here is the paradox Nietzsche forces us to confront. The very thing you're running from pain. Struggle, risk is the only thing that keeps you alive. Without it, you decay. Without it, you become the herd. Comfort breeds dependency. Dependency breeds obedience. And obedience is the death of freedom. Weak men don't need to be conquered. They conquer themselves through surrender. So Nietzsche's challenge is direct. If you want to avoid becoming a last man, you must become his opposite. You must choose hardship. You must deliberately expose yourself to pain, to risk, to resistance, because that's where your spirit grows teeth again. Every great man you admire was forged in fire. Caesar in war, Marcus Aurelius in discipline, Nietzsche himself in sickness and solitude. They were not spared from suffering. They were sculpted by it. But the weak man hides. He takes pride in avoiding discomfort, like that makes him clever. He does not realize that his comfort is his cage. And the longer he stays inside it, the more he forgets what it feels like to fight. The disease of comfort has one cure: to wage war against it daily, to embrace the cold shower, the heavy weight, the silence without distraction, to choose the road where you bleed instead of the path where you coast. Because Nietzsche's warning is clear: the man who avoids struggle does not live longer, he just dies slower. Weakness used to be a shame. A man who could not fight, who could not protect, who could not hold his own, was pitied or forgotten. But now, weakness is paraded as virtue. We live in an age where cowardice is called compassion, where fragility is branded as authenticity, where men are rewarded not for discipline, but for their ability to broadcast their wounds and demand applause. Nietzsche saw this inversion centuries ago. He called it the morality of the herd, the revolt of the powerless against the strong. When the weak cannot defeat the strong on the battlefield, they do it with values. They rename their fear kindness. They baptize their resentment as justice. They rewrite reality so that failure becomes proof of moral superiority, while strength becomes a crime. And if you dare to stand tall, they won't just resent you, they will crucify you. Look around. The culture rewards confession without transformation, victimhood without victory, dependency without discipline. It is not enough to suffer. You must now turn your suffering into an identity and weaponize it against those who dare to rise. Meanwhile, the man who refuses to bend, who bears his scars in silence, who builds quietly, he is labeled toxic, dangerous, oppressive. But here's the truth. Weakness paraded as strength is a lie. Compassion divorced from power is manipulation. Authenticity without discipline is narcissism. And inclusion that punishes excellence is not inclusion at all. It is the herd sharpening its teeth against the lion. You have a choice. Kneel and join the masquerade, or burn the mask and stand as an outlaw of the herd. But if you choose the latter, know this society will not clap. They will hiss. They will mock. They will try to drag you back into their swamp. And that is proof you're on the right path. Your challenge: stop celebrating your wounds. Turn them into weapons. Let the herd drown in its applause for weakness. Your task is different. Rise, bleed, and conquer. The greatest betrayal is not from the herd. It is not from the false friend or the jealous enemy. The deepest cut comes when you betray yourself. How many times have you silenced your own fire just to be accepted? How many times have you swallowed your truth, put on the mask, dimmed your strength, just so the weak wouldn't feel uncomfortable in your presence? This is the silent suicide of the soul. You trade authenticity for approval and call it being kind. You trade courage for comfort and call it being practical. Nietzsche warned us. Man says tragedy is not that he suffers, it is that he suffers while lying to himself. He bows to idols he doesn't believe in, repeats words he doesn't mean, builds a life that is not his own. He calls this betrayal virtue. He calls it duty. But deep down, he knows. The mirror knows. And here is the truth no one dares to admit. The world does not destroy you, you destroy yourself. Piece by piece, with every compromise you knew was cowardice. Every time you choose comfort over truth, you put another chain around your own neck. Until one day, you wake up and realize you are your own prison guard. The herd celebrates weakness, yes, but the more dangerous enemy lives inside. It whispers, stay quiet, don't stand out, don't fight back. And if you obey it long enough, you won't need anyone else to cage you. You will cage yourself. But there is another path, the path of betrayal in reverse. Betray the herd instead of betraying yourself. Betray their applause. Betray their demands. Betray every expectation they placed on you, and in doing so, remain loyal to your own soul. The man who dares to betray the world in order to stay faithful to himself. This is the man who cannot be conquered. Your challenge: audit your life. Where have you become your own executioner? Break those chains. Better to be hated by the world than to live as a traitor to your own blood. The betrayal of self never vanishes. It calcifies. It hardens into armor. And that armor has a name: the mask. You wear it to survive. At first, it feels harmless, a smile when you want to scream, obedience when you want to rebel, silence when you want to roar. But repeat the lie long enough, and the mask grows into your skin. You forget where it ends and where you begin. The mask is society's masterpiece. It is the role they hand you, the part they expect you to play. Be polite, be agreeable, be productive, be useful. They don't ask if this role fits your soul. They demand you disappear inside it. And you comply, because rebellion is punished and conformity is rewarded. The herd doesn't just want your obedience, they want your face. Jung warned, the persona is necessary, but deadly. Without it, you cannot function in the world. But with it, you risk never meeting your true self. You become a hollow actor, reciting lines written by others, applauded for a performance that trains you of life. And here is the tragedy. The mask is not worn only in public. It follows you home. It stares back at you in the mirror. And the more you feed it, the more it devours you. Until one day, when you try to peel it off, you find there is nothing underneath, only the echo of what you once were. But the mask can also be shattered. Every lie you refuse to tell, every role you refuse to play, every demand you dare to reject, these are hammer strikes against the armor. Yes, society will call you selfish. Yes, the herd will hiss. But better to wear the scars of battle than to suffocate behind the mask of obedience. Remember this, the mask is comfortable only to the dead. The living tear it apart, no matter the cost. Your challenge: identify one mask you wear today, the role you hate, the lie you tell, the false face you maintain. Destroy it, even if it costs you comfort, even if it costs you approval. Better to bleed in truth than to suffocate in disguise. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the forge. And in Nietzsche's world, your wounds are not marks of shame, they are proof. Proof that you've entered the battlefield of existence while others sat safely in the shadows. The herd fears scars because scars expose the reality they spend their lives denying. Scars scream, I fought, I bled, I survived. And nothing terrifies the weak more than a living reminder of the war they never dared to wage. Society teaches you to hide your wounds, to cover your cracks with a plastic smile and polished lies. But Nietzsche spits on that illusion. He tells you, wear your scars as a crown. Why? Because suffering is not just survival, it's transformation. A scar means you were cut open and rebuilt stronger. It means life struck you with its hammer, and you did not shatter, you hardened. It is the body's way of saying, I have endured. I am unbreakable. The weak want applause for their weakness. The strong carry their scars in silence, each one a badge of war. And that silence roars louder than any words. Look at history. Every great figure, warrior, thinker, creator bore scars. Sometimes on the body, always on the soul. Their greatness was not in spite of their suffering. It was because of it. Nietzsche understood. He who suffers most deeply has the deepest authority. So stop running from pain. Stop asking, why me? That question is for slaves. Instead ask, what weapon is this scar shaping me into? Because every cut, every betrayal, every wound can be transmuted into strength. The herd hides scars. The warrior displays them. And the ruler? He turns them into his crown. Every man wants victory. Few accept the cost. Nietzsche's last whisper is not comfort. It is warning. You cannot escape the scar. If you chase greatness, you will bleed. If you choose safety, you will rot. Either way, the scar arrives. The difference? One man carves his wound into history. The other dissolves into dust. This is the law. Existence demands payment. You will pay in sweat, in betrayal, in loneliness, in the slow grind of time. No one walks out untouched. Not kings, not prophets, not you. The question is not whether you will suffer. It is whether your suffering will be meaningless or whether it will crown you. That choice Nietzsche throws into your hands. So stop begging for an easy path. There is none. Stop hiding from the blade. It already waits. Step forward, take the cut, and let it mark you. Because the scar is the seal of the living, the crown of those who dared, the proof that you existed without apology. The final scar is coming. You cannot avoid it. The only question is, will it break you or will it make you unforgettable? Choose now, because time will not wait. Subscribe to the Inner Citadel Project and comment the one scar that forged you.